G'day tryhards. We want to take you along with us and show you what one podcast episode of Try Before You Die looks like from start to finish. We're going to share where we come up with the ideas, take you along to the challenge, our preparation for the episode, filming the episode, doing the editing, the socials, etc. But today we're going to a nude beach. It's a Saturday and we're about to drive an hour away, so that's part one, doing the actual try, because we actually do the tries. It's all real, no faking, unfortunately. Yeah. Put aside the day, let's jump in the car. We're off to Sunnyside North Nude Beach, but first coffee for the road. How we come up with our tries each week, they come from a number of different avenues. So we might think of them, our producers might think of them. We get a lot of DMs from people in our Instagram suggesting different things that we can do. The premise behind them is that it's just doing things that get us outside of our comfort zone and that we potentially haven't tried before, and it's going to challenge us and kind of push us. That then is going to create good content for the podcast. Today's try came about because, I don't know, I've just always said I'm uncomfortable with nudity, and I think maybe our producer Rich suggested it maybe. Yeah. Maybe try a nude beach. At the moment, the thought of being nude in front of someone else is quite horrific. So yeah, we're just doing this to, I guess, test ourselves. It's going to be quite a confronting one, I reckon. But again, good for us. They all teach us something. That's, I think, the thing. Even if we hate them, we always try them and they always do something for us. What's our new motto? You don't have to like it, you just have to try it. We have just arrived at the nude beach and it took us so long to get here. We are parked so far away. This week's podcast episode is us going to the nude beach and we have just arrived. Tune into the pod, Try Before You Die, to hear some nude beach action. I think this is the nude part. I think we're here. Just leaving the nude beach. That was some foreign gear to us. Tune in to see how far we go. Yeah. You might be surprised. So now we're on our way home from the nude beach. We spent most of the day there. And so now we're just kind of having discussions about things, each writing notes about our individual experiences, and talking through some good key points that we'll then include in the podcast. And then over the next couple of days, we get a rundown from our producers. And yeah, we'll sort of make notes under headings and questions and things like that. We choose to keep a lot of stuff secret from each other, so the reactions are organic. Natural reactions. So it's a full effect, audio, visual. Are there any other effects? Well, it's a big production and there's a lot of work that goes into it. I think some people think that you just sit down and chat through something, but there's a lot in the lead up to it. We want to do it really thoroughly and honestly and truthfully. Yeah. So it is the night before our podcast record and we are sitting down doing all our podcast prep. Normally takes a few hours. We've got our rundown here. Our producers put together a few questions and just a bit of an outline so we don't go too much off track, and then we basically just make notes under each of the questions about our experience. So it's quite a lot. I'm trying to transcribe all my dot points into paragraphs and sentences that make sense. I feel like we don't refer to our notes that much when we're actually in the pod, but it's just good to have, when you write it out, I feel like it makes you sort of remember it when you're actually in there. Normally I come up with something off the top that I want to talk about with Lib. Then there's the try the line, which the producers spring on us. Then the body of the podcast. Then the Hall of Fame. So normally we scroll through all our DMs or iApple reviews and try and find a really good one. So we're pretty thorough. I know not everyone does a podcast like this, but we like to make it as slick and informed as possible. That we do. Here at the podcast studio. Just arrived. Been here 675 times, we always go the wrong way. Oh, there's Rich, our producer. And then welcome to the studio. Oh, here's Jen. of our cool branding. All the lights and stuff change colour. So we've got our beautiful pink lights set up and our screens. So cute. Okay. Welcome to Try Before You Die. You don't have to like it. You just have to try it.
Liberty, that is probably the best point you've ever made in your entire life.
I don't make very many of them, so thank you very much. DM us, write us a iSpotify or iApple review. And don't forget, you don't have to like it. You just have to try it. Good app. All right, we just finished recording our latest podcast episode.
So now we have a bit of our meeting with our producers and we have a debrief and talk about what socials clips we might want from the episode for the week.
And then we chat through when our next record's going to be, what our potential next tries are, when we're going to do them, how we're going to facilitate them.
Now we go home and we await a copy of the episode so we can listen to it and make any necessary edits.
I still don't like listening to myself. I find it hard to listen to myself on the pod. Do you?
I love listening
you like
to
your
myself.
Own voice?
Nah, there is so much cringe.
So much cringe.
But also I do
You
have
get
a
used to
laugh.
it.
I do have a laugh
Yeah,
at some of the
and
gear
you
that
get
gets
used to it.
So add nude to that, and I am just grinching a worse.
Now listening to a draft of the podcast episode, making sure everything makes sense. We don't say anything too rogue or offensive.
And we just sit and make notes of what cuts we need to make and then send it to our producers.
And also any highlights we want to focus on for socials. We're across every aspect, probably more than the average.
We're quite anal.
We're quite anal. We like perfection. Not that you'd think perfect when you're listening.
Welcome to another episode of After the Try, Nude Beach Edition.
Hey, we're wearing our sorbet colours today.
Yeah, we're matching. I am putting together our social cover for the social clips that are going to be featured on our Instagram and TikTok for the new episode of the pod. So there's a new one depending on how many clips we do. We've got 3 different covers for all the promotions that we run over the week.
We work with the socials guy at 9 Podcasts to decide which ones we should use, and then you put them in the right format. All right, we've just gone live with our first nude beach post promoting the Nude Beach podcast episode.
So this is how it looks. Obviously from what you saw on my computer last night, this is now how it looks.
And then we'll do 2 more throughout the week. It never really stops. And that's how it's done. A day in the life of one podcast episode.
There's a lot to it.
There is. But worth it.
Absolutely.